Can I be honest with you? I just heard probably one of the best speeches about America and what America means. I guess since Obama, I think since the last time I heard Obama speak.
I said that like Gracie. Yes.
Yes, he did. He was very good.
Did, George.
Christie pulled out of the race today. He said, he goes, there's no path for me to win. And then he gave this scathing speech about Trump, scathing speech about the Republican Party. Basically talked about, he goes, we need to fix the border. He goes, that's agreed. He goes, but do you know these people are walking hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles to get here? Do you realize they have more faith in America than we do? And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I was like,
wow.
and he kept dropping bombs like that, right? So when he's pulling out of the race, so Nikki Haley's within 10 points of Trump in New Hampshire. Or less than that even, or maybe 7 points.
I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah.
Well, I tell you what, you got a choice. Now, first of all, Nikki Haley might beat Joe Biden. But we'd still have Nikki Haley. We wouldn't have some psycho fuck that said on day one, I'm going to be a dictator.
Yeah, true.
She'd be like, and she's also the one that took the Confederate flag off the
make no mistake.
Oh no, she's a hardcore righty.
But at least maybe then we could go back to our usual normal fights instead of
fighting for
sanity and our democracy.
There you go. The end of America.
And like the actual purge or like the Civil War.
We're now yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Before he left, Christie was caught on a hot mic. So saying it was one of the most brilliant speeches I've heard in a long time, flat out calling out Donald Trump. Then my favorite part, called himself out. Said he said, you have to have personal ambition in order to do this job, to want to be in politics. You have to. But the moment you let that supersede your main goal, which is serving the people, you've lost. And he says, I did that when I chose to support Donald Trump. He said, I put my personal ambition ahead of what I actually stood for.
Wow.
And he said, I'm sorry for that. And I made a promise to my wife and to myself that will never happen again. And
personal ambition is a necessary element for any political candidate, but it can't be what governs your decision making. I made a political decision 8 years ago. I looked at the polls and I decided that Donald Trump was going to be the nominee. And that since I'd known him for 15 years, that I could make him a better candidate. And if he won, maybe a better president. I knew his flaws, but I also knew he was going to win the nomination. So I decided that I would get behind him and support him. I let the ambition get ahead and in control of the decision making. And after I figured that out, I promised myself and I promised my wife that I would never, ever do that again.
And I was like, oh my God, the politician apologized and
he's
admitted
dropping out now?
Yeah.
Like, didn't he read the fucking handbook? You can't say that shit.
Yeah.
You can't apologize. You made a mistake and then you took responsibility.
You didn't hear the whole thing?
What kind of politician is that?
Yeah.
Were a bunch of red light dots showing up on him?
A lot. There was room for a lot. So a lot of people had speculated that maybe he would drop out and maybe Haley would consider bringing him on because he had some votes like in New Hampshire. He had 12% or so. It was something becoming VP, right? So, unfortunately, he was caught on a hot mic right before. Probably how he feels, probably just didn't mean to catch it on the hot mic.
No.
And he said, Nikki Haley is going to get smoked.
We know we're right, but they don't want to hear it.
Right.
And there's, we couldn't have been any clearer.
Right.
We couldn't have been any more direct or worked any harder. So,
And let's not forget she spent $68 million.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent
when you give land to China and places like that.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, she spent $68 million so far, just on TV. Spent $68 million so far, $59 million by DeSantis, and we spent 12. I mean, who's punching above their weight and who's getting a return on their investment, And she's going to get smoked, and you and I both know it. She's not up to this.
This was minutes before he suspended his White House campaign. Then he said she's not up to this. Christie went on to say that Ron DeSantis had called him, quote, petrified. DeSantis addressed that I don't know when it was. Today. Oh, this just happened.
God, you gotta know.
Tweeted, I agree with Christie. Nikki Haley is going to get smoked.
Okay, so I'm going to be clear about this. So I am very lucky in my life to know some very strong women that if some man said that about them, they're going to double down in a way that's going to scare the fuck out of everybody. And
smoked, huh? Smoked?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Nikki Haley's someone going, oh,
Let's see who gets smoked.
okay, bitch. Okay.
He then also said he was talking about how none of them would talk about Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah,
he went on about that
He was
for a
great.
while.
He goes,
But on the hot mic, he could be heard saying, we know we're right, but they don't want to hear it. The people, he knows people don't want to hear what he has to say.
But he is right. Like I heard the most pure. It's weird why I don't know why he said that because so he's been so anti-Donald Trump. There's no Trump supporters that like Christie. None.
Right.
The people that don't like Trump like Christie. Like they're like, okay, this guy's at least speaking the truth. So his 10% is definitely going to go to Haley.
Yes.
Definitely not going to DeSantis.
Well, that's why
tries to
this
beat
is
Trump.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Why would he say that? Why?
I don't think that it was like a disparaging thing.
Yeah.
I think he said this in his speech. He goes, these other candidates, they spend all their time press releasing that I should drop out of the race, that Asa Hutchins should drop, all the Mike Pence should drop out. He goes, none of them, not one of them has spent any time addressing or combating the front runner,
the guy who's winning,
who doesn't show up. No one. And so I think, and he said, and we're in this to win. And that's not how you win. That's not a winning campaign structure.
If Nikki Haley can get him, okay, first of all, tomorrow he's going to have to come out and go, I didn't mean that. What I meant was the way Trump's ahead by 50 points. And the sad thing is she's going to get smoked by this loser. That because she's a better person.
Yes.
He needs to say that right away. That being said, if he comes out and says that, and because Christie's a great attack dog. Like even if she gets him nothing, he just gets a cabinet position, whatever. If she wins, if she just unleashes him, he will bury Trump. And this remember what I always say about Trump? Trump's got too much shit on people. That's why they don't talk about him. Guess who he doesn't have shit on? Chris Christie. And I've said this before. Do you know why? Because Chris Christie comes out and nonstop talks smack about this dude. Nonstop.
Yeah, and he's done nothing.
And he's done nothing. And do you know why I think that? Because he was the governor of New Jersey, and he knows what Donald Trump did. I will bet you dollars to very, 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 very orange donuts that Chris Christie has enough on Donald Trump between New York and New Jersey that all he'd have to do is
they knew each other. But they knew Giuliani too.
Yeah. Well, Giuliani, I'm guessing that Trump has more on Giuliani. Any guy that just says, we're at the dildo shop, let's do the speech.
We're already here.
Exactly.
That's my favorite part of all of it.